Hello and welcome to your favorite travel show, that is Tourismus. I'm your host, Glenora Shipura, and in today's episode we have an exciting lineup just for you, starting off with our top stories from the industry, swinging over to destinations that you should visit, and of course running it off with a hot topic. We'll be right back with this and so much more.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Starting us off in our topics, conservancies trophy hunting. Trophy hunting has generated substantially more income for Namibia's communal conservancies than joint venture tourism, underscoring its continued importance to rural livelihoods and conservation financing. From 2013 to 2024, communal conservancies earned more than 292 million Namibian dollars from hunting, compared to 166 million Namibian dollars generated through joint venture tourism. This is according to Tourism Minister Indeleni Daniel, who responded to questions about trophy hunting in Parliament. She said that trophy hunting also provides much needed protein to rural communities and farmers in the form of meat. Both tourism and hunting create employment opportunities and contribute to social development and community training. Daniel also highlighted the indirect revenue benefits generated by the sector, noting that hunting supports other businesses such as taxidermists, lodges, fuel stations, curry shops, and restaurants. She said that conservation hunting forms an important part of Namibia's integrated sustainable development and conservation strategy. All right, moving over to our next topic. Stakeholders in the Erongo region used a public consultation on Namibia's tourism policy this week to highlight a recurring problem in the sector: the gap between policy proposals and implementation. The consultation, held in Swakopmund on Monday, forms part of a nationwide process by the Tourism Ministry to review the national policy on tourism adopted in 2008. Officials say the review aims to update the 17-year-old framework and ensure it reflects current realities in the tourism industry. However, discussions during the meeting repeatedly returned to the question of implementation and coordination. Chief Tourism Officer Franz Hellau, who is leading the consultation process across several regions, acknowledged that previous plans had not always been carried through. The ministry is currently conducting consultations across multiple regions. According to Hellau, the process began earlier this month in the south and is continuing through several towns before inputs are consolidated. His team is responsible for 6 regions. They started in the Karas region in Keetmanshoop, then they continued to Mariental, Goagoses, Erongo, and now Swakopmund. They will be going to Opua next in the Kunene region. Once consultations are completed, the ministry plans to compile all recommendations before returning to stakeholders to verify whether their proposals have been incorporated. Participants raised concerns about coordination between ministries, the need for improved tourism data systems, infrastructure development, and the removal of barriers to tourism investment. Some stakeholders also argued that tourism policy must address bottlenecks outside the tourism sector itself, including infrastructure, regulation, and cooperation with other industries. Another issue raised during the consultation was the need to ensure tourism development extends beyond Namibia's main tourism centers. All right, we now move over to our last topic, the Heritage Council. Plans to convert one of Swakopmund's most historically significant buildings into a luxury hotel have triggered a dispute between heritage authorities, developers, and local stakeholders after the National Heritage Council rejected proposals that would have removed most of the original structure. A proposal to redevelop the historic former municipal building and post office on Earth 989 in Swakopmund into a hotel complex has been blocked by the National Heritage Council of Namibia after the authority found that the plan would demolish the majority of the highly graded heritage structure. Now, the council confirmed that the proposal would retain only the street-facing facade and staircases while demolishing most of the original building. The building carries an A98 heritage grading and forms part of Swakopmund's proclaimed conservation area along one of the town's historic streets, surrounded by several other significant heritage structures. The council has therefore directed that the historic core of the building must be retained and conserved in full, and that demolition of the graded structure is prohibited unless a new heritage permit application is submitted and approved. All right, do let us know what you make of these stories in our social media, or rather on our social media comments section, and we might just have a chat. On the other side of this, we get into the destinations that you must visit. All right, in our first stop, we are at the Burgsdorf Guest Farm. Just south of Maltahöhe, Burgsdorf Guest Farm is a historic farmstead that combines warm hospitality, colonial-era architecture, and sweeping views of the southern Namib countryside. Let's have a look.
Burgsdorf Guest Farm is situated 25 kilometers south of Maltahöhe and easy to reach via the C14. Ideally situated for all tours to the southern part of Namibia, Burgsdorf is home to many guests venturing south or to guests simply wanting to enjoy a memorable holiday in a friendly and very relaxed environment. For those not wanting to drive by themselves, all trips to Sossusvlei, Sesream Canyon, now Kluft Park, Duisip Castle or Hardup Dam can be booked directly on the farm Burgsdorf. Their aim is to conserve Namibia's enduring spirits, thus mixing nostalgia with homeliness and giving birth to the warm and comfortable guest farm. They pride themselves in the uniqueness of their goats, offering the widest variety of different indigenous goat species together at one place. The historical old farmhouse is built out of natural stone in German colonial style. Burgsdorf has a rich history dating back to 1899. The name of the farm Burgsdorf comes from the Hauptmann von Burgsdorf, who was the commander of the Gibeon district. Burgsdorf Farm is located in Sossusvlei. The accommodation options at the Burgsdorf Guest Farm are en-suite rooms, and these en-suite rooms offer 8 rooms which are also suitable for families. The facilities that are included in these rooms are suitable for all families and are of course air conditioned. Burgsdorf Guest Farm has plenty amenities that the guests can enjoy, including their excellent cuisine with homemade local specialties. The accommodation also boasts a swimming pool, sundowners on the Swartrand Plateau, game drives on the farm, and spontaneous hiking trails. Burgsdorf is a working farm with mostly goats and cattle. At Burgsdorf, you can experience how a Namibian farm operates firsthand. The facilities offered at Burgsdorf Guest Farm are a restaurant, an open-air grill, a bar, as well as a swimming pool. What to do at a Burgsdorf Guest Farm? Well, they offer sightseeing trips and game drives on the farm. There are also extensive trails, mountain hiking opportunities on and around the farm's 13,000-hectare property. Guests can enjoy the unforgettable scenery and sundowners on the Swartrand Plateau. The activities include sightseeing trips, game drives, trails, hiking, hand gliding, which is seasonal, paragliding, which is also seasonal, sundowner drives, as well as bird watching. And things to see are unforgettable scenery as well as sundowners. So what are you waiting for? Book now at Burgsdorf Guest Farm.
In our next destination, we are at the Sandwich Harbour. Erongo Governor Nathalia Goagoses visited Sandwich Harbour near Walvis Bay, where she was taken on a tour by Sandwich Dunes Tours and Car Rentals, owned by Kenneth Kapitako, who was also recently awarded the concession for Sandwich Harbour. Let's have a look.
The governor of the Erongo region, Nathalia, recently visited Sandwich Harbour alongside local tour operators from Sandwich Harbour Tours to experience Namibia's most iconic coastal destinations firsthand. During the visit, Governor Goagoses praised Namibia's remarkable natural landscapes, describing Sandwich Harbour as a unique national treasure that reflects the country's rich environmental heritage. She highlighted the importance of preserving such sites while promoting responsible tourism that benefits local communities.
It stretches from where we are, goes all the way south up to the areas of Ludwitz, and also southeast roundabout where Sources Flag is. If you go to Sources Flag, you are basically in the Namibia Park. If you see that line over there, that's the boundary of the two national parks. We have just come from the Dorop National Park that we came from into the Namibia Park. Now, if you go back in history, between the history of South Africa and Namibia, we know that after independence, Walvis Bay was still under the territory or still owned by South Africa. Now, if you go back in history, that area that we came from, that line, on the other side of that line, between 1990 and 1994, you would have been in South Africa, Walvis Bay. And when you cross to where we are right now, you would be in Namibia. Just the bridge, like the bridge of Swakopmund and Walvis Bay, the bridge that you cross when you're coming from Swakopmund. I don't know if you guys at that time were still living in that area. Between 1990 and 1994, on the other side of the bridge of Swakopmund, you would find the Namibian police. And on this side of the bridge, or in the middle of the bridge, you will find the South African police. So if you are 18 years and older, you have to either produce your ID or your passport coming from Swakopmund to Walvis Bay. So basically, it's also the same thing here. So for those that have known about the concession thing that was awarded, this is actually where the entrance of the park will be. Now, in the past, we know that there was no management in this area where people could, manage and see if you had your permits and all that. So this is basically where the entrance will be. As you can see, there's only one toilet there as well, which is also a little bit run down. So if you come here, as from the 1st of April, you will see a different structure or structural that they're going to be here. You will find obviously more toilets. This is the highlight of this tour. This is what tourists want to come and see when they come to Namibia. Now, years ago, if you look at this stripe between the lagoon and the ocean, on the other side where it's so dry, They also tried doing a guano platform in that area, but it didn't transpire because when it was low tide, the jackals used to run there and obviously chase the birds away in that area, so it never transpired. But if you guys with the cameras can just turn around and look at that view, you would see this is the top selling area in this area and one of the top selling areas in Namibia. This is what tourists spend their money and time for coming to Namibia. And this is what we want our local people also to experience as local tourists and know their areas in Namibia. I mean, you will find people who have gone to countries such as Dubai and say, but why must we go to Dubai if we have something as beautiful as this just at our next door neighbors, which is Namibia. So welcome to your Sandwich Harbour, Honorable and team. Welcome to this beautiful, spectacular view here.
The writer was also
Wow.
beginning of heaven.
Yeah.
Wow. Beginning of heaven.
Yeah.
Welcome, 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 welcome to Namibia, welcome to Erongo region.
Yes.
Welcome to where the dunes and the sea are dancing together, kissing to each other. We are standing here at the highest sand called sand dunes in the desert. Come on, come on, come on. What more can we say? God has given this region with this type of endowment, such a beauty. First time, Mwakwetu. I am here where they are saying endless horizon, which is presented by Erongo region, where we see practically the wonders, one of the wonders of our creator. Where the dunes, we are in the desert. Exactly, these are the dunes, and this is the ocean. Who have seen this in life? And there at our back are the lagoons, the I am speechless. And from the very start, when we were brought by this tour group, and I must congratulate the government of our Republic of Namibia, Ministry of Environment and Tourism, for having granted the concession right to a Namibian who is passionate about this industry. I have seen from the very beginning that there was a need for this concession to be given, because this area, I am told, is also one of the preserved and protected area, which really needed to be protected, to be governed through some regulations without limiting the access to Namibians first and to our international guests. The area is clean, is friendly, is so wonderful. I have no words to explain. All I can say is welcome to the Sandwich Harbour, welcome to Erongo region, welcome Namibians, welcome our international tourist groups. And what is also amazing about this, what I have seen, is the coexistence, the cooperation amongst the different tour groups. About 90 of the tour operators in these areas, I've seen them are bringing the tourists. So far in this very short span of time, we have witnessed about hundreds and hundreds of the tourists brought by the different tour operators here, and that is one thing that I really appreciate.
I'm definitely seeing myself in the coast this weekend. So don't say we don't plug you on a Tourismus by giving you destinations that you must visit. On the other side of the break, we get into our To The Point segment. Stay with us. Now, student pilot Evia Mary, a second-year trainee at the Namibia Aviation Training Academy, NATA, and Mutaleni Namene, a final-year aircraft maintenance engineer student at the same institution, were among aspiring aviation professionals who attended the Namibia Women in Aviation International Day held at Drompos in Windhoek last week. The event also featured remarks from Marianne Akwenye, Namibia's first black female commercial pilot, who reflected on the progress made by women in the aviation industry and expressed pride in the growing number of young women pursuing careers in the field.
Hi, my name is Evia Mary. I am a student pilot at NATA, and this is my second year in training. I'm someone who's ambitious and likes challenges, and this career is something that will challenge you both technically and also mentally. So I think that's just also what drew me to this, and it's really beautiful to say. And I would like to be part of the 6% of female pilots in the world. It will challenge you in terms of you have your days where you doubt yourself and you'd wonder if this is something for you. It challenges also it challenges you mentally. It's something that's very demanding and time consuming, but you can achieve what you put your mind to, you know. Personally, I haven't gone through any simulations yet. I'm not at that stage yet, but it comes as you go through the process of training and building your hours. And we do simulations to train you for things like engine failures. Then that's when you go do your simulations for those kind of things. But not most of the things you do it physically in the aircraft, in the sky. In terms of the buttons, I know there are a lot, but it's something that you get used to. We have checklists and you study them, and as you do it over and over, it just becomes like muscle memory, and you remember what to do as time goes on. And if I were to choose between private jets and commercial, I'll choose maybe commercial because there are more benefits that side. Yeah. The sky is not your limit. The sky is something that you should aim for.
Hi guys, I'm Mutaleni Namene, a final year student at NATA as an aircraft maintenance engineering student. What inspired me to become an aircraft engineer is because I always wanted to test the male out. My whole life I'd like to test men out, so I was like, I'd like to join a male dominated company just to add spice, so maybe one day I can inspire another female to join my sector, and then we can dominate also, and then it can be an equal domination of men and women. So yeah, what else? The secret to this is actually always asking questions. Be curious, guys. Be very much curious. Be wanting to know anything. It's not a stupid question. Ask every time you want to know something. Ask. It will get you a long way if you do that. But if you're ignorant, darling, you end up being piled up with so many things, and then later at the end of the day, you don't even understand what you're doing, and you'll start doubting yourself. You start asking yourself, am I really meant for this trade, or did I make a mistake? But sometimes it's with your laziness and you not being very, very much not being serious and determined enough to do it. It comes with you also. So subject wise, you have tough subjects. Like for me, I'm trading in avionics, which is mostly the electrical part of the aircraft. So I have very, very hard subjects, most of them, and I try where I can. I always ask questions if I don't understand, and if we don't understand, we won't go forward. But anyways, like I said, you guys should ask, and be curious. Curiosity gets you very far in life, especially in this sector. Yeah. Okay, so I am now on my OJT, which in other words that you guys can understand, on my internship. I am working for Namibian Instruments and avionics. Like I said, I am studying for avionics trade, which is an electrical trade. It's actually super cool working and touching an aircraft, pulling wires, installing gauges, troubleshooting. All of that is a very, very, very exciting experience for me, but it comes with pros and cons. Like sometimes the work environment might not be as easy or as adapting as you expected, but then it's for you to push forward and to show them that you're really capable of it. The other thing is, you should show that you want to be here. They will give you the information that you need, but then it's up to you to show if you really want to be there. Do you really want to learn? So at the end of the day, hard work. hard work. All I can say, just work hard. You'll be fine. You will have days where you doubt yourself, but you'll be okay. As I would say, we are in a culture where we are told that men do this type of work that I'm doing, but as a young female out there, I would say and tell you that it's not true. You yourself, you can also do it. Wake up, smell the coffee, darling, and achieve your goals. Dear child, your dreams are very much valid. Thank you.
So this day is a very important day, and I believe that, or I remember when I started, I had no reference point. These days didn't exist. There was nobody to guide me, and seeing these young women entering and busy with their aviation training is really awesome. It's inspirational. We have made great strides as a country, as Namibia, and I'm very proud to have been one of the people who have paved the way. Yeah.
And a message to young girls that want to pursue this career.
So any young girl, and it goes for any career. It goes for any career. I know aviation is seen as a very prestigious career, but anything is possible in life. And I would urge that young girl to not let her barriers, which is internal or circumstances or the background where she comes from, deter her from chasing her dreams.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to put you on the spot a bit. Just give me 2 highlights of your career so far. 2.
Seeing the world. Seeing the world, it opened up my whole world, that I could understand how the world works. So that is what aviation did for me.
All right, they say all good things must come to an end, and on that note, I have to say goodbye from me, Glenora Shipura. Until next time.